There once was a human and an ant. The human loved the ant immensely as its own being. The ant was in awe of the human's might and ability, so much so that the ant went to the human with all its cares and fears. The human would always respond and protect the ant's going out and his coming in. One day, the ant gave the human a petition for a house. The human knew that the ant loved and trusted him, and knew that the ant needed shelter, clothing, and food. So the human's heart was filled with love, compassion, and zeal to fulfill the petition of the ant. However, since the human was so much greater than the ant, they experienced time differently than one another. For every minute that went by for the human, it was the equivalent of 10 years for the ant. The human always responded quickly to the ant, because the human loved the ant as its own being, and cared about the ant in ways that the ant was not able to understand. However, since every minute for the human was 10 years for the ant would sometimes have to fight thoughts of doubt of the human, and he would often wonder why it would take so long for his petitions to be granted to him. The human went away to get the house for the ant ready. The human planned to take one of his favorite containers and work on the container so that it would be a home for the ant. This was very easy for the human to do. The human never took his eyes off the ant. However, the ant could not see what the human was doing because of the great size difference between the two. Suddenly, a spider came out of hiding and was planning to eat the ant. The ant cried out to the human, and the human rushed to rescue the ant. With a clear, transparent glass, he placed a glass over the ant. The spider and ant were left confused because they did not notice the glass cup since it was clear. Eventually, the spider gave up and went away. The human then removed the cup and went back to working on the container home for the ant. At this point, only 30 seconds has passed by for the human since he began working on the container. But for the ant, it has been 5 long years. The ant begins to doubt the human. However, after remembering the works the human has done for it, he remains steadfast. He begins to cry out to the human. The human hears the ant, but he is still working on the container. The human desires to make it perfect for the ant as a reward for trusting him and loving him.
Please come back to me.
It has now been a complete minute for the human since he began working on the container home, which means it's been 10 years for the ant. But the human goes to the ant. The ant is shocked to see the human with the container home in his hand, and the ant is just pleased to see the human again. The ant says,
I almost stopped believing, but then I remembered your mighty works and faithfulness to me. I have missed you with all my being, and my lips barak you for your kindness in giving me this home. Please, never forget me, and please, never leave me again.
The human, moved with compassion, says to the ant in response, would a woman forget her nursing child and not have compassion on the son of her womb? Though they forget, I never forget you. See, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are always before me. I shall never leave you nor forsake you. I hope this sort of parable has encouraged you to continue waiting on Yahuah and trusting him, and knowing that there is much protection, love, kindness, provisions, and answers he is giving us that we might not be able to perceive or understand since we are lesser beings. However, in due time, if our petitions are within his desire, he will do these things for us. This sort of parable was meant to emphasize and highlight these following verses. For 1,000 years in your eyes are like yesterday that has passed, or like a watch in the night. Psalms chapter 90, verse 4. But beloved ones, let not this one matter be hidden from you, that with Yahuah, one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Yahuah is not slow in regard to the promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward us, not wishing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 8 through 9. Shalom, beloveds of Yahuah and Yahusha. Stay strong.
all eternity. Even if they mock me, if they sock and rock me, if they tase and shock me,